Thanks, Jennifer. Also like to thank the Press Club for sponsoring the event and GMAT and Brony for organizing. I think it's important, obviously, that reauthorization is completed as quickly as possible. What's more important, though, is that at the end of the day, the bill adequately addresses our transportation needs and spends our money wisely. And what does that mean? We view at ATA a good highway bill through this lens. By 2020, the trucking industry will haul over 13 billion tons of freight. 71% of the total freight moved by all modes. Jennifer had railroads at 43% today. That's intercity ton miles. We're just looking at tons. Either way, we're all hauling a lot of freight. We're going to be moving a lot more freight in the future. By 2020, we'll move 31% more tonnage in the trucking industry than we do today. We'll need to put another 26% more trucks on the road to do that, and those trucks provide 27% more miles. So when the ultimate highway bill, transportation bill, comes out, we'll sort of look at it through that lens. Does the bill help us to meet those future demands? Is it worth the investment we'll be asked to make? Now we know, because the Highway Administration told us so, that the top 200 or so bottlenecks around the country cost the trucking industry around $19 billion a year in lost fuel, wages, and time. And that's not even counting the impact to shippers, the costs due to late deliveries. We need a bill that focuses investment on removing significant barriers to efficient mobility in major freight corridors. We recognize that more money will be needed to meet that goal, and we're willing to make this investment, provided we believe that we'll get a good return on our investment. Our members will support a bill that benefits them, and they'll also look at how the money is raised. It's just as important as how it's spent. The fuel tax has been a viable source of revenue for 90 years. It will continue to be a good source of revenue for at least the next 15 to 20 years. At that point, technologies potentially affect the amount of money going into trust funds as cars, passenger vehicle fleet starts to transition into alternative sources of energy. But the fuel tax, we believe, is still the most efficient, fairest source of revenue, and all alternatives will be judged against it. We're not big fans of tolling. Collection costs for tolls are at least 15 times higher than the fuel tax. We're a little less concerned about tolls for financing new capacity, but we're still concerned about the cost effectiveness. We're not real enthusiastic about privatizing existing facilities because what happens is the users of those facilities tend to subsidize other parts of the transportation system, or even non-transportation other government programs not related to transportation. We are open to considering new fees imposed on shippers. But these fees tend to be difficult to administer. Some of them have legal issues, particularly if they're trade-related. And we really don't see too much advantage from these fees over the fuel tax. We also must recognize that truck size and weight reform offers a low-cost, quick way to improve the trucking industry's safety and efficiency, reduce our energy use and environmental impacts, and it should be part of the solution. Now, let me conclude by saying deregulation 30 years ago was in large measure responsible for producing a low-cost, very efficient freight transportation system that was responsible for creation of millions of indirect jobs and for significant economic growth. But an inadequate transportation system threatens to reverse those gains. We may disagree on some of the details, but I think we can all agree that we need to be far more strategic in terms of our investment policy decisions. There's some tough choices that need to be made. We can't wait. We we can't wait any longer. We risk having the freight transportation system become a drag on our economy. The federal program has evolved into something that tries to be all things to all interests, and it's really time to redirect the program to focus on a more limited goal, one that's more appropriate to the goal of the federal government, and reflect the fact that even with a significant increase in funding, a federal program is not going to be able to satisfy everybody's wants and needs. It's time to put the focus of the federal program where it belongs, on promoting the efficient movement of the nation's freight. Thank you very much, and now turn it over to Chairman Kavinoky, Director of Transportation Infrastructure at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for that recognition that I am shorter than not only Darrin, but Paul, Page, and others. Good morning, everyone. It's always great to be able to start the day talking about something that should be on the nation's top priority agenda, but is not. So let's start this week and carry the message throughout the week, I think is what we all need to be doing. I am Kavinoky. I'm the Director of Transportation Infrastructure at the U.S. Chamber. I also lead our Business, Labor, and Transportation Industry Coalition, Americans for Transportation Mobility. Now I've said transportation 3 times. I'll try not to do that again. It is a pleasure to be here with the freight stakeholders. Most of the people in this room who are members of the freight stakeholders are members of the U.S. Chamber. And when Joni talked about the stakeholders coming together to try and create consensus out of competitors, it's also consensus among customers and among those who pay for transportation. And I think it's a good representation of the fact that no matter what the differences are among industries, no matter what the differences are among who's paying or who's using, we all recognize one thing, and that first of all, 18 months is too long. And the message I think this week is 18 months to the administration and to the Senate in particular is too long to wait to create jobs, to improve our economy, to deal with the significant policy questions we have for transportation, and to find a sustainable source of funding for our surface transportation programs. It does not make sense to say that we need more time. What is it you need more time for? Do you need more time to gather more information? Because there have been 2 very significant congressional commissions that have created volumes of paper who have said, we know what we need to do for transportation. They have collected the information, they have put together a vision, and they've put together consensus funding recommendations. So the information is out there. You add that to the information that all of us as groups have provided to them, we could fill this room 10 times over. You don't need more time to collect more information. Do you need more time to find revenue solutions? I keep going to offices on Capitol Hill where they say, well, we just don't know what the revenue solutions are. I point you once again to those 2 very detailed reports and several others. And the fact that all of us as groups have been working together to figure out what we can come up with as a consensus revenue solution. And I will tell you that for the most part, what you will hear groups, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, say is with the right policy, we are going to support an increase in federal gas and diesel taxes. And Darrin very much has it right. You've got to have the right policy to make that happen. But you see folks like Chairman Oberstar, like Chairman DeFazio in the House who are working very hard to develop the right policies, and they've made a good start with their bill, and we're going to continue working with them on it. So what is it you need more time for?